Welcome, welcome, welcome to yet another free weekly training with me, Rupa Patil. And today's training is extremely special, especially if you feel that you work too hard, but you're not really getting anywhere. So today's training, the topic of today's training is time mastery with Eisenhower Matrix. And those of you who are already using this matrix, good for you. Those of you who haven't heard about it, don't worry. This is exclusively for you. And as you can see, this is week number 12 of our free weekly training. As of now, these weekly trainings are free and you can access this either on YouTube live. By the way, if you are joining me live, type in a hello so that I know that you are there. And if you're watching me as a replay, so type in hashtag replay so that I know that you have watched it. So once again, type in your name, type in which city you're from if you have dialed in live. And my name is Rupa Patil, and I'm based in the city of Bengaluru in southern part of India. And I am an international business mentor, trainer, author, and speaker. And today's training, hey Kirti, I see you, Dr. Kirti in the house. I really love how you show up. And Dr. Kirti herself is an accomplished woman, and yet she is here. Please lower the background music. Is there any background music? Is it still going on, Kirti? Because there is absolutely, I want to listen to your voice. There is absolutely no music playing. Let me just check, stop share. Okay. So once again, checking if you can hear me all right, because there is absolutely no background music playing. However, yes, a couple of minutes ago, that is the opening 5 minutes timer that I give. Okay, fantastic. No worries, Kirti. All right, fantastic. So today's training is especially for those of you who feel that you have been constantly fighting through the day. You feel as if you are working too hard, walking on a treadmill, but just like what happens on the treadmill, you keep running, you keep sweating, you keep moving forward without really getting forward. If that is you, today's training is for you. Once again, this training is also for those of you, not just for entrepreneurs, but those of you who are in corporate, in work, in as an employee, in jobs. And if you have trouble delegating, even the entrepreneurs out here, the solopreneurs, the early stage business owners, if you have always asked yourself a question, Rupa, I don't know what I can delegate. Everything seems to be important, and I need to be doing my own stuff. If you have felt that, type in me into the chat box because you are not alone. But if by the end of today's training, and which is, by the way, I'm hoping to keep it under 30 minutes, that's a little challenge that I need to take for myself. But in today's training, I'm going to share with you everything that you need based on a very famous Eisenhower matrix that you can use to not only streamline your tasks, but also to identify which tasks can you delegate, which tasks can you remove from your life, and how can you be more productive without having any stress. Also, you as especially as a business owner, you will be able to identify which segments of your business, of your tasks can you get rid of. And imagine what happens when you get a lot of, let me ask you, forget a lot of, what if by the end of today's training you are able to find out at least 1 hour of free time every single day? What will you do in that extra 1 hour? Type that into the chat box. And those of you who are watching me on the screen, and if this is the first time, once again, as I said, my name is Rupa Patil. I'm also the founder of this Heart Leaders Club. And these trainings are eventually going to be exclusively only for the Heart Leaders Club members. Who are Heart Leaders Club members? Well, you have to just go and join rupapatil.com, go and see rupapatil.com and go and find out Heart Leaders Club membership. Inside Heart Leaders Club, we actually go live every single month. We do hot seat calls, business leaders mastermind call, networking calls. There are also weekly review calls depending on which tier of Heart Leaders Club are you coming in. But these trainings that you are getting as of now for free, very soon these trainings are going to end because they are not going to be free for everyone. These trainings will be exclusively available only for our Heart Leaders Club members. All right, perfect. So let's get started. Let me stop the share. So today's training is all about Eisenhower time matrix. And by the way, if you have you heard about this amazing matrix, the Eisenhower Matrix? Have you heard? Type in yes into the chat box if you have heard about this matrix. And if you haven't, don't worry, I'm going to share with you. And by the way, I'm seeing here because this is where my second screen is kept and I can see your comments coming in. So thank you very much for those of you watching this. No worries, Dr. Kirti, no worries. I will share that with you. Okay, so please type into the comment box any question that you may have related to time management, related to task management, related to delegation, any question that you have. I will do my absolute best to take up these questions. But now let us dive straight into the Eisenhower Matrix. Okay, so first of all, what is this name Eisenhower? Why is it so difficult or different? Well, those of you who have probably read history, you know the 34th US president, Preetham ji. Hello, I see you. Once again, if you have joined me live, type into the chat box your name and which city you're from. Even when you're watching this as a replay, type into the chat box your name and which city you're from. Also, I am open to take any questions. And even if I'm not able to take the questions on the live training, I will absolutely do my best to answer your question as a comment. So drop in your question related to time management, task management, how to create or delegate tasks, how to hire teams and stuff like that. Any question that you have, remember, I do these trainings. Everything that I do is about personal growth, income growth, and impact growth. So any question that you have, you can always reach out to me. Once again, it's a quick reminder. These weekly trainings as of now are free for everyone, but very soon they will be limited only to the Heart Leaders Club members at any level that you are. Perfect. Thank you very much, Preetham ji, Dr. Kirti. Thank you very much. Let us begin. So I was telling you about the origin of this Eisenhower Matrix. So 34th US president was Dwight, and I'm just reading out his name. I don't want to get it right. Dwight D. Eisenhower. And this particular Eisenhower matrix that he created was during that time, during his presidency. It was all for making the most effective use of the time. But you know what? A couple of years later, Dr. Stephen Covey, those of you who are on Facebook, you also know that the other group that I run on Facebook is by the name The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, which is the iconic international best-selling book by Dr. Stephen Covey. So Dr. Stephen Covey then picked up this Eisenhower Matrix and he elaborated that in his book by the same name. Okay, so you can go and find out a little more about the history of Eisenhower Matrix. But today, I intend to give you a crash course on Eisenhower Matrix and how you can use that to be more stress-free when it comes to completing your to-do list daily. So type in I am in. Type in I am in if you're ready to grab this crash course on Eisenhower Matrix. Once again, Eisenhower Matrix is also called as time management matrix, and it is based on the premise that not all tasks are equal. What does that mean? Not all tasks are equal. What it means is different tasks, different work, different actions that we do yields different outcome. Different actions have different outcomes. Therefore, they need to be categorized separately. Thank you very much. Thank you, Shinoy sir. All right, so they need to be classified separately. Okay, and that is the premise of Eisenhower Matrix. So, what Dwight Eisenhower, the 34th US president, what he did was he, in order to create an effective time management strategy, he created very cute four quadrants. Type in 4Q into the chat box, four quadrants. What do I mean by four quadrants? Based on how important the tasks are and how urgent. Look at this, pay attention. How important each task is and how urgent. Urgent and important. Important and urgent. Based on these two parameters, a beautiful four quadrant system came to birth, which is also called as the Eisenhower quadrant system. And I'm going to simplify this quadrant system in three simple steps. Pay close attention, even if you have never used this matrix before. What you will see is, knowingly, unknowingly, you are doing a part of this time management already. Even without knowing the name of this matrix, you have already been implementing a certain part of this. So once again, Eisenhower matrix, and these are the four quadrants based on how urgent the tasks are and how important these tasks are. Based on that, a four quadrant system came to birth. Q1, Q2. What is Q1? Q1 tasks are very important and very urgent. You see this arrow? Arrow means high on importance level, green arrow, and orange arrow is high on urgency level. Okay, so what is Q1? What is Q1? Q1 tasks. And by the way, all the tasks will fall into one of these categories. So the Q1 tasks, any task that gets classified in Q1 means it is very important and it's very urgent. Okay, so which tasks? Type in Q1 into the chat box if you understand that quadrant 1 is all about highly important and highly urgent tasks. The other word for Q1 is critical tasks. Thank you very much. Pranam Patel ji, pranam to you. Thank you for joining from Tumkur. Really honored to see you. So once again, those of you watching this live, type in your name, type in which city you're dialing in from. Those of you watching this as a recording, type in your name and your city wherever you're dialing in from. It is honor to see you here, even though you're watching this as a recording. So today we are talking about Eisenhower Matrix for time management so that you can start completing your tasks every day without any stress. So Eisenhower Matrix, time management matrix, is based on the premise that all the tasks are not important because different tasks yield different outcome. Okay, so what he did, what Dwight did was he classified or he segregated the tasks in four quadrants. Please type in 4Q into the chat box. Q for quadrant. Q1 is high on importance, highly important tasks, highly urgent tasks, therefore highly critical tasks are all Q1. This is where the fire is being fought, okay? Q2 tasks are very important, but they are not urgent. Thank you very much, Dr. Kirti. So Q1 is highly important, highly urgent. Q2 is not urgent, but it is important. Similarly, what is Q3? Thank you, thank you, thank you. What is Q3? Q3 are the tasks which are not important, but they are still urgent. Okay, we'll talk about this. As I said, I'm going to break down this matrix in three simple steps. I'm just giving the high level premise. And Q4, what is Q4? Type your answer into the chat box. What kind of tasks are Q4 tasks? Are they urgent? Not at all. Are they important? Not at all. Okay. So this is a high level overview of the four quadrants. Don't worry. In step two, I actually break it down. Each of these quarters have got a name. Okay. And that name itself is going to give you an aha moment. By the way, whenever you get an aha, whenever you get um, a light bulb on moment, please type in the word aha into the chat box and do share with us whatever your light bulb moment was. Okay. So remember to type in aha whenever you get an amazing insight. Okay. So this is the premise of Eisenhower Matrix. And let me tell you, each of these quadrants have got names. Are you ready? Type in ready into the chat box if you are ready to receive. Only if you're ready to receive is when I am ready to share. What is Q1 called as? What is Q2 called as? Why have I color coded it? Let's break it down for you. Type in ready into the chat box. Okay, type in ready, type in ready. Perfect. Thank you very much, Preetham sir. We are talking about, yes. Okay, so if you're ready, I am ready. Thank you very much. Okay, so once again, we are talking about how to create stress-free productivity. And before I could share that with you, let me give you what are the names of these quadrants. What are these name of the quadrants? Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so quadrant one, remember quadrant one was highly important and highly urgent tasks. Quadrant one was highly important and highly urgent tasks. So that is also called as the quadrant of necessities. Please type this into the chat box. Q1 equals necessities. I want all of you to do that, please. Type in Q1 equals necessities. The tasks that require your immediate attention, such as your project deadlines, okay, your delivery deadlines, emergencies, right? Q1. Are you having any task, any work, any action as of now that is extremely critical? Because if you neglect this quadrant of necessities, it is called as quadrant of necessities, it can lead to a disaster. It can have very serious consequences. Highly urgent, highly important. Okay, it could be in your personal life. On a very serious note, there are so many people who neglect their health. Somebody has got severe backache, severe backache. Is that going and visiting a doctor, that then becomes in the quadrant of necessities. So that is Q1, quadrant of necessities. Type in got it into the chat box if you understand that this quadrant is extremely important and extremely urgent, and you cannot overlook it. If you do not cater to the quadrant of necessities, it can lead into disastrous. Yes, type in got it into the chat box. Thank you. So now let us look at what is quadrant 2. What is quadrant 2? Okay, remember quadrant 2 is not very urgent, but it is important. Quadrant 2 is not, in quadrant 2 we find tasks which are not very urgent, but they are very important. This quadrant can make or break your long-term goals. This quadrant can make or break your personal growth, income growth, impact growth, because the quadrant 2 is also called as quadrant of quality. Please type into the chat box Q2 equals quality. The quadrant 2 is called as quadrant of quality. This is where your proactive tasks are housed. Proactive tasks that enhances your personal development, that enhances your business growth. Those of you who are in Heart Leaders Club, those of you who are my BIA Plus graduate, my Business Income Accelerator Plus graduate, when I talk about IGAs or income generating activities, it lies here in quadrant 2, because this is where you need to invest your maximum time. If you invest maximum time here, if you invest maximum time here, you prevent activities getting into the necessities quadrant. Okay, so this is a quadrant of proactive quality. It is quadrant of quality. It is also for proactive tasks. Type in Q1 equals necessity and Q2 equals quality. So once again, if you want to stop firefighting, remember, I told you at the beginning of this call that once you identify the 4 quadrants, you will be able to prevent being on a constant firefighting mode. Okay, if you want to prevent being on constant firefighting mode, the quadrant that you need to pay most attention to is the quadrant of quality, that is Q2. Now let's move on. Thank you very much, Preetham sir. Thank you, Kirti. All right, let's move on to quadrant 3. Quadrant 3 is, again, quadrant 3. Remember what is quadrant 3? Let me show you what quadrant 3 is. Quadrant 3 is here. So that is, it is not important, but it is very, very urgent. The tasks which are not important, but very, very urgent, these are the tasks that do not contribute to long-term growth. Okay. Thank you very much, Dr. Kirti. These tasks do not contribute to long-term growth, but they seem so urgent. And most of the time, people spend most of the time there. And that is why. And because it does not yield positive outcome, it does not have any significant outcome in your personal life, in your financial life, in your professional life. This quadrant 3 is also called as, be ready to type that into the chat box. Q3 is called as quadrant of deception. Type in Q3 quadrant of deception into the chat box. Okay, such as, think about it. We have these messages to reply, we have these emails to reply, or we have, these phone calls that come in. They seem very, very urgent because, hey, somebody is calling me on my phone, should be urgent. Somebody is messaging me, should be urgent. Somebody has sent me a high priority email, maybe urgent. Somebody has walked into my office, knocked on the door saying, hey, Rupa, can I speak with you? It may seem important, it may seem urgent, but typically these activities are not. Thank you very much, Dr. Kirti and Preetham sir. So this is called as the quadrant of deception, such as unnecessary phone calls, non-work related discussions. Many people, you know how many people, especially if you are in business, you are going to relate to this, okay? You know how people call you and say, hey, I think we can collaborate. There is so much that we can create about it. And instead of a 30-minute quick call conversation, it goes on for 1.5 hours. They are just telling about their stories, their histories, which is great, but there is a time and space for everything. So therefore, quadrant 3 is called as quadrant of deception, because this is what takes up most of your time, but quadrant 4 is worse. Quadrant 4 is worse, okay? And remember to type in aha the moment you get some light bulb on moment. Quadrant 4, remember, quadrant 4 is neither urgent nor important. Quadrant 4 here is neither urgent nor important. Okay? This is a quadrant. All the tasks that lie here are utterly of little to no value. Little to no value in short term or long term. And short term, it may feel very good to do these activities, but these activities lying here, and this quadrant number 4 is called, be prepared to type in, quadrant 4 is called as The quadrant of the waste. Quadrant of waste. It's absolutely a waste. All the activities here are absolutely waste, such as excessive social media. More than now. Now more than ever. Just look at the number of social media channels that we have. We may get onto social media to connect with somebody, and then within no time, we realize that 30 minutes have passed away. It is a quadrant of waste. Getting in touch with clients or prospects or members who are not really moving forward and they have no interest in moving forward. Even your employees, if you are an employer, even your employees, for the decision that you should have taken long back to let them go, but every time, every minute that you invest in them, despite knowing that it is a waste of time, that is in quadrant 4. Okay, once again, if you have any questions, type that into the comment box. I am looking at it. Uh, Preetham sir says, I was like this earlier, now becoming more productive. Preetham sir, thank you very much for being so open and vulnerable. And once you understand this 4 quadrant, and I am going to, in the next, the step 3 is coming up now. In the step 3, I'm going to take all of this, okay, all these 4 quadrants, and I'm going to tell you which quadrant should you immediately pay attention to, and which quadrant should you automate, delegate, or outsource. Okay, so we are going to do all of that so that by the end of this training, by the time you walk out of this training, you will have a very clear mind and heart and absolutely a clearer calendar. We don't want utterly clear calendar, but we want a clearer calendar. Okay, so let's get on to the number 5. So now that we know that there are tasks such as social media, which are utterly waste, there are tasks that waste, then there are this deception. In the quadrant of deception, there are a lot of tasks such as attending to unnecessarily phone calls, non-work related messages, and anything that takes up most of your time and energy and gives you little to no results. And we have talked about all this, but now we take all this information. Remember, what are we discussing? We are discussing the Eisenhower Matrix, which is for time management. Time mastery happens once you manage your time, okay? And once we identify which tasks are here, the most important question is, so now you already know how to identify. Type in yes into the chat box if you understand how to identify which tasks lies where. For example, if you're doing any income generating activities as an entrepreneur, this is in your quality quadrant, quadrant of quality, income generating activities. Okay, if you are watching too much of social media, okay, remember, you can be a creator on social media or you can be a consumer. If you have always been a consumer on social media, I'm sorry, my dear friend, most of your activities are here in quadrant 4. And then you're wondering, why am I not productive? Why am I not getting results? Why am I not able to check everything on my checklist? Why am I not reaching my goals? Okay, so once you identify your tasks, type in yes, thank you very much. Type in yes if you understand. And if you're confident that you will be able to identify where is my day lying? Where is my day mostly in? Okay, so once you understand that, and here is a little hint. Those of you who are constantly firefighting, that means you're working on activities which are extremely important, extremely urgent. What it means is you're spending very little time in this quadrant. This quadrant is all about planning. Okay, so let us see what is that we can do with this information that is relevant to you. Okay, and that is, once you identify the 4 quadrant, these are the 4 things you do. If you have identified that there are tasks which are extremely urgent, extremely important, I'm sorry, but you will have to do that right now. You will have to put everything else on hold and you need to do that right now. But in the quadrant of quality, that is the Q2 quadrant, This quadrant is all about proactive planning so that you don't have to be in a firefighting mode. So in quadrant two, what you do is you decide. When I say decide, it means take a decision on certain elements and then do the planning. Then do the planning in advance. For example, at this point of time, I'll give you a great example. If you feel that your day is filled with everything that seems urgent, everything that seems important, that means you need to spend more time in planning. What kind of planning? Such as goal setting. Okay. Example of goal setting. Now, those of you who are not yet connected with me, I have dropped a link into the chat box, especially if you're watching this on YouTube. I have dropped a link. If not, you would see the link somewhere in the video description or as a downloadable as a clickable link with wherever this video is hosted. But in that link, I have shared a couple of ways in which you can start taking charge, start being proactive. That is what Dr. Stephen Covey, of the author of the 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, have talked about. Be proactive even before an activity turns into a fire, even before an activity turns into a fire that needs to be attended immediately. There is a lot of time in advance to plan. For example, do you know that within 2 months, I will start planning my next year? Yes, by the month of September, October, I will start planning my next year in advance. So in that link, I have given you goal planning. So once again, do business planning, goal planning, personal health, even health for that matter. And this is a great example. If you feel that you have got a slight backache, this is a time, it's not urgent, okay? It's not urgent. You've got slight backache. It is not urgent, but it is important. And if you don't decide to do something about it, do enough exercise, back strengthening exercise, weight exercise, or maybe, do some corrective postures, or go for a massage, or go to a doctor, you need to decide and do that right now before it becomes urgent. Type in I get it. Type in I get it into the chat box if you're understanding what I'm sharing. Okay, so let's move forward. So you understand what to do with the tasks here. You absolutely need to do it, whether you like it or not. And the tasks which are here in the the quadrant of quality, you need to decide. Are you going to work on it? Who is going to work on it? When are you going to work on it? What is the plan around it? Now that we talked about, this quadrant, thank you very much, Preetham sir. This quadrant that I talked about, the quadrant of deception, this is where, it is slightly better than this quadrant, which is all about time wasting. But this is a quadrant which you can absolutely delegate. For example, is it important for you to create a social media profile, social media content if you're an online business? Is it important for you to, draft emails, respond to emails, send the invoices? Yes, absolutely, it is important. However, it is slightly lesser important, but it is important. It has to be done. It has to be done. But the beauty is, once you identify these activities, you can make a list of things and then you can delegate. This is important. Type in the word delegate into the chat box, because in this quadrant, anything that you're doing in this quadrant is worth delegating. And when I say delegate, it could be also automate. There are certain tools which can automate. For example, I have got so many business owners who come to me as a business mentor. I tell them, of course, I guide them and remind them that the social media presence is important. But you know what? You can now delegate or automate. You can either hire a VA and make sure that your social media calendar, content calendar is taken care of, or you can automate using the Meta tools, the LinkedIn tools, and there are so many different ways in which you can automate a lot of stuff. And that again goes here in this column. And the last one, remember the quadrant of utter waste, the quadrant of utter waste. This is what you don't need in your life. or you need to reduce it to none. So that is why we call it as delete. Delete. Okay. So delete, either completely stop scrolling the social media or set a timer. 15-minute timer, 30 minutes timer, too much by the way, but set that timer. And in that timer, sure, you can do your social media, you can do stuff, you can do, a chit chat with friends, all that you can do. But try and do it not during your work hours. And if possible, please delete it. And this is the importance of tasks. Tasks which are highly important, highly urgent, do it and decide on it, decide, plan on it. Tasks which are not important but kind of urgent, please delegate and automate. And tasks which adds no value to it, no value to your personal life, financial life, professional life, please delete it or reduce it and set a timer when you do it. And this is how we handle the tasks. How many of you would like to get an example of Eisenhower Matrix in real life? Type in me into the chat box, because I am going to give you an example of a mom. One of my business mentees is a mom. She runs a company of around 40 to 50 people, and this is what she did. Okay. So what she did was, let me take out here. Okay. And I've made a couple of notes which I'm going to refer to. Anything that is important, client meetings, sales calls, urgent project deadlines, family emergencies, anything that needs to be done, she does it. Remember this. You need to do it. You need to do it. So she does it by herself. The sales calls, as much as possible, she takes a lead or she has her sales manager with her. But she attends those urgent client deadlines, sales calls, even media coverages. That is what she does it immediately as soon as it comes. All right, thank you. The second one, when it comes to attending workshops and webinars and trainings like this, she makes sure that she has scheduled a time on her calendar to actually do this. Because the more of preparation she has, she can save on the firefighting mode. Okay, so these are any workshops, any personal development, business development, the goal setting, marketing, income generating activities. She decides for it in advance and she does it along with her team members. Now comes the delegation part. Okay, anything that is not important, such as minor administrative tasks. So the example that I was sharing about invoice. So she has a two-member team which takes care of her emails. They go through the emails and they decide which email is important. So they're kind of the gatekeepers. So they do it. And she has therefore delegated these tasks to the team. Also, she uses a lot of automation and AI. She also has an AI assistant, by the way, but she uses a lot of automation and delegation, especially for her social media, follow-ups, administrative tasks, calendar block, reminders, all of that. She has got a team member, a couple of team members to help her with that. And the last, of course, is what has she deleted? She has completely deleted leisurely social media surfing from her work hours. She has completely deleted it. Yeah. And also, what she has done is she has decided that on weekends, she will not. So she has switched the flip, and on weekends, she does not take any work related calls. So that is how one of my business mentees has applied this Eisenhower matrix. And now, my question to you is, do you want to create a stress-free productivity? Then please type Q2 into the chat box. Focus more on quadrant of quality. This is where you proactively plan. So please type in Q2 into the chat box and type in I commit. I commit to being proactive. By doing this, you are going to create stress-free productivity. And by identifying your quadrant of deception and waste, you will be able to easily delegate any tasks that you do not want. So this was the training for today's Eisenhower Matrix. Thank you very much for attending. Now type into the chat box, what is that one key takeaway? What is your one key learning from this training? Did you identify any tasks that you want to completely delete or delegate? Type your answer into the chat box. Did you identify any task that you want to completely delete or delegate? Did you identify any task that currently requires your urgent attention? Whatever your answer is, type that into the chat box. And remember, one parting gift that I want to give to you is please use Google Calendar. It is free. Sure, you can use Apple Calendar if you're an iPhone user, but I personally use Google Calendar. And one of my favorite techniques to manage my time effectively without missing out on any important deadlines, personal and professional, I use this thing called as Big Rocks time management. Please type into the chat box Big Rocks. And what it simply means is when you start, for example, when I start filling in, as I said, by the month of September, October is my goal setting time for the next year. So the first thing that I will do is I will identify what are the big things that drive me in my life, such as my time with my family, my time with my kiddo, my time with my parent, my time with my spiritual, practices. So these are some times which are very important to me. I love trekking. So these are all my big rocks. Please type into yes, thank you very much. So please type big rocks. And so these are my big rocks. What are your big rocks? So type in big rocks into the chat box and understand big rocks are your prioritized tasks, tasks that you absolutely have to do it. And these are your energizers. This is why you are working on the first place. Time with my family, time with myself, going for trekking. So these are the things that drives me, and I will first put that in my calendar. And that is the big rocks time management. And only after that, in the remaining time, will I fill in other activities such as income generating activities, my upskilling, my meeting, my collaborations, and stuff like that. So this is how you become not only productive, but you become stress free. And always in your calendar, you will have time for things that matter to you without sacrificing that. I learned about this from my mentor back in 2019. He is Robert Raymond Ripple. I learned this from him when I was going through yet another training. And remember, trainings are quadrant 2. So this is how you create your free calendar, or calendar that is filled with things that makes you, that develops, that helps you in personal growth, income growth, and impact growth as a leader. And this is why Eisenhower Matrix is so important. And even after decades and decades and decades of Eisenhower Matrix being first published, it is still being used not only by individuals, but even by bigger organizations and corporates. So if you have any question, please do share that with me. Preetham sir says I have to delete social media surfing in work time. Yes, Preetham sir, thank you very much. Same. It is same for so many of us. And at least you were honest enough to accept it. Many of us will never accept it. Big rocks to me is developing 5 members. Yes, that is amazing. And that is correct. And when you develop this 5 members, Preetham ji, you are functioning in quadrant 2. That is the quadrant of productivity, quadrant of quality. By having that 5 team members, then you can go ahead and delegate this quadrant 3 activities. You are on an awesome track. Dr. Kirti says, delegate and automate, delete mindless surfing on social media. Thank you very much. And especially, you know what? It was just today. Maybe I was late, but it was just today that I found that even LinkedIn has got the scrollable videos, the reels, right? These are called as reels. And I was like, I wish it wasn't on LinkedIn, but again, that is my personal wish. All I have to do is not go there. So anyway, but please identify what is that you would want to do, and please type into the chat box what is your 24 hours challenge. Are you going to take time to identify the big rocks for you? Or are you going to take time to identify what is that you need to do, decide, delegate, or delete from your tasks? What is your 24 hours challenge? Once again, if you have any question, you can always reach out to me. My email ID is rupa@rupapatil.com. As you can see on the screen, probably not the email ID, but you will see on the screen this rupapatil.com. Once you go to rupapatil.com, you will find this is the email ID. This is the website, and my name is rupa@rupapatil.com. If you have any question, please make sure that you are joining our Heart Leaders Club. If you want to progress every single week, every single month, that is the whole intention. And next week, once again, these are just two last live trainings that I'm giving for free. After that, I don't intend to give these trainings for free anymore. Okay, so the next training that is coming up next week is profitable freelancing. How can you become a profitable freelancer? Or if you have somebody in your family, in your friend circle who would want to become a freelancer and actually make money out of their free time, then ask them to join me in the next week, because I will be talking next Tuesday, same time, I'll be talking about profitable freelancing. Once again, Dr. Kirti and Preetham sir and others, there's so many of you who are watching this live, but you haven't really interacted much. Pranam sir, thank you very much for joining me live. And those of you watching this as a recording, lots of love to you. Please type into the chat box your one key learning. What did you learn today? And time check, I'm way above 30 minutes, but I couldn't stop myself from giving you everything that I know about Eisenhower Matrix. Eisenhower Matrix, the time management matrix, and the Big Rocks time management. These are the two things which has saved my life and my time and my sanity, and I hope it saves yours as well. So see you inside of our Heart Leaders Club, where we do the business networking, where we do the weekly reviews, we do the monthly hot seat, monthly masterminds, and even the reviews I have covered. Yes, and we have a WhatsApp group where we constantly hold each other accountable on 24 hours on daily basis. If you're struggling with working too hard but not really coming up with any positive outcome, then join our Heart Leaders Club and we will hold you accountable on a daily basis. So thank you once again, Big Rocks Time Management and Time Management, Big Rocks Time Management. Yes, fantastic. That has been your big learning. Thank you once again, those of you who are watching this live and who are watching this as a recording. If you're a part of Heart Leaders Club, I will see you in our WhatsApp group, and I will see you in the next hot seat call and networking call. By the way, as of now, networking calls are free, so go ahead and register for it. So thank you once again. My name is Rupa Patil. I am a certified mastermind professional, an international business mentor, trainer, author, and speaker. And today it was an absolute honor to serve you. Thank you for giving me an opportunity. Wish you a very profitable and stress-free productivity. See you. Bye-bye. Thank you very much. I deleted Facebook from my life, says Dr. Kirti. Good job, Dr. Kirti. I deleted that too, but then later on, I came back and I became a creator on Facebook. So I only create, but I do not I do not consume much of a content. I miss your 4 a.m. club. Kirti, you can anytime come and join. We are always there for you. Thank you, Dr. Kirti. Preetham sir, thank you very much. Those of you, Pranam sir, thank you. Those of you watching this as a recording, Anna, Karuna, Ramya, whoever is watching this, thank you very much. Lots of love to you. See you in next week. Thank you. Bye-bye.